This video is about Hercules finds artifact until trap triggers. If this myth excites you, please like the video, share it with friends, and write in the comments how it pulled you into the adventure. In the age when gods still walked among mortals and the skies roared with the thunderous battles of titans, the world trembled under the weight of forgotten legends. Among these legends, none shone brighter than Hercules, the demigod son of Zeus. His might was unmatched, his heart noble, yet unknown to him was the destiny that beckoned, the quest that would intertwine his fate with the very fabric of the cosmos. Far beyond the rolling hills and vibrant meadows of Greece, the land of Thurs lay shrouded in mystery. Ancient ruins spiraled into the heavens, remnants of a time when gods mingled with men. Whispers echoed through the wind, rumors of a powerful artifact known as the Heart of Nyx, a relic said to possess the essence of night itself, granting its wielder unparalleled strength and dominion over darkness. Driven by the weight of his lineage, Hercules approached the ruins, the evening sun casting long shadows upon the crumbled stones. He could feel the pulse of the earth beneath his feet as if it were alive. Each step echoed with the promise of trials yet to come, the air thick with a potent mix of danger and destiny. Suddenly, a chilling wind swept through the crumbling edifice, carrying with it a voice, ethereal yet commanding. Fate has woven your threads, son of Zeus, seek the heart, but heed this warning, to wield its power is to court the abyss. Hercules paused, glancing over his shoulder into the gathering gloom. Who speaks? He called, though his heart raced with recognition. He sensed the presence of a divine entity, a guardian of the secret spirit within the ruins. But before an answer could come, he pressed onward, his mind set on the challenge ahead. As he navigated the maze of stone and vine, Hercules recalled the stories told by his mother, Alcmene. The Heart of Nyx, she had said, is both a blessing and a curse that can grant unimaginable power but may consume the soul of its bearer. The words weighed heavily on his mind, yet ambition pushed him forward. Clambering over a tangle of roots, Hercules stumbled into a vast chamber, the ceiling soaring like a vaulted sky. At its center, glimmering in the half-light, lay the Heart of Nyx. It pulsated, a fiery ember caught within the shadows, coaxing him closer. His breath quickened as he approached, each heartbeat resonating with the artifact's mystical rhythm. But before he could grasp it, the ground trembled, and the ancient stone showed. A deep rumble echoed through the chamber, and from the shadows emerged a colossal creature, Asterion, the Minotaur, a guardian bound by divine curse. His skin glistened like polished granite, muscles coiling beneath the dense layer of fur. Foolish mortal, bellowed Asterion, eyes ablaze with an otherworldly fury. Only those worthy may claim the heart, prove your strength, or perish in the darkness. Hercules, unbowed by the creature's ferocity, drew himself up, his voice steady. I seek not just the power of the heart, but the means to protect the innocent, stand aside, beast, or face my wrath. With a savage roar, Asterion charged, the ground shaking beneath his heavy hooves. Hercules braced himself, muscles taut like steel, and leaped to the side just in time. The Minotaur crashed into a stone pillar, sending shards flying. The chamber quaked, and dust swirled like a living thing. In an instant, Hercules found his footing, retaliating with a flurry of blows. He dodged another swift strike, countering with a powerful punch that sent Asterion staggering. Your might is great, but I have faced greater challenges, Hercules shouted, drawing from the very essence of his being. The Minotaur roared in defiance, angered by the demigod's resilience. Then let this be your final stand, he growled, lunging forward again, this time feigning left before pivoting to the right, trying to outmaneuver Hercules. But Hercules was no mere mortal. He anticipated the ruse, sidestepping just in time. He ducked under the beast's massive horns and delivered a swift kick to Asterion's side, the blow reverberating through the chamber like thunder. Fate favors the brave, Hercules declared, channeling his inner strength as he pressed the attack. With every strike, the essence of the heart pulsed louder, drowning out the Minotaur's growls. Sweat poured down Hercules' brow, but he pressed on, fighting not just for glory, but for the hope of a peaceful world. With one last effort, Hercules summoned all of his strength, launching himself into the air with a powerful leap, and brought his fist down upon Asterion's skull. The guardian staggered, eyes rolling back, and with a final, earth-shattering roar, collapsed to the ground, defeated. As the dust settled, Hercules stood over the vanquished beast, panting heavily. Your curse is broken, Asterion. May you find peace in the afterlife, he whispered, feeling the weight of his victory tempered by the sorrow of the creature as fate. With the guardian subdued, Hercules turned his attention back to the Heart of Nyx. He approached it cautiously, sensing the residual power radiating from it. The artifact shimmered, drawing him closer as if inviting him to claim its might. Just as his fingers brushed against its surface, a deafening crack echoed through the chamber. The walls trembled, and the very foundation of the ancient ruin began to crumble. In that moment, Hercules recognized the trap laid within the heart as a lurid warning not heeded. "By the gods," he shouted, pulling his hand back as jagged stones fell from above. He sprinted toward the exit, adrenaline surging through his veins. The ruins threatened to entomb him in their ancient embrace, but Hercules was resolute. With each stride, he pushed himself harder, the echoes of collapsing stone urging him forward. Dust filled the air, choking him, but he would not falter. He leaped over fallen debris, dodged crumbling walls, and burst through the entrance just as the archway collapsed behind him. The moon hung high in the night sky, glimmering like a beacon. Breathing heavily, Hercules turned back to the ruins, a mix of triumph and despair swirling within him. "I shall return," he vowed, though he felt the shadows of destiny closing in. "I will not let this be the end." But even as he spoke those words, unseen eyes watched him, gods curious about the path he would tread, and monsters waiting to exploit his every misstep. Little did Hercules know, this was merely the beginning of an adventure that would pit him against trials beyond imagination. In the distance, thunder rumbled as a storm brewed, ominous foreboding of what lay ahead. The heart of Nyx remained just out of reach, its promise of power like a siren-esque call, beckoning him back into the depths of darkness. But Hercules, like a true hero, would not shy away from the challenges that awaited him. "Let the gods test my resolve," he declared into the night, the echo of his voice a promise. "I will face whatever comes, for honor and for the fate of mankind." With that, the demigods set out once more into the unknown, the journey stretching ahead like the stars scattered across the vast heavens. All the while, the heart of darkness throbbed, a reminder that every victory would demand a sacrifice, and every challenge faced would carve his legend deeper into the annals of time. With the weight of unresolved destiny pressing upon his shoulders, Hercules strode away from the ruins of Thuros, their shadows whispering secrets of the past and foretelling the trials to come. The air around him crackled with tension, as though the gods themselves were conspiring above. He felt the lingering pulse of the heart of Nyx, echoing in his very bones a promise of immense strength entwined with the looming threat of darkness. As night enveloped the land, Hercules ventured toward the nearby village of Caledon, where tales of his triumph over Asturion had already begun to spread like wildfire. Yet the villagers were not simply awaiting a hero's return, they were gripped by a new terror. The foul stench of fear filled the air, and the flicker of torches revealed pale faces, their eyes wide with dread. "What has transpired here?" Hercules demanded, his voice booming over the hushed whispers. An elder, stooped and weary, stepped forward, trembling. "Great Hercules, a beast ravages our lands. It calls itself Thurian, a harbinger of destruction sent by the gods to punish us for our blasphemies," the elder lamented, his voice thick with sorrow. "We have offended the divine, and now we are cursed." "Tell me of this beast," Hercules urged, his heart pounding with fierce determination. "I shall confront Thurian and bring peace back to your village." "The creature is a chimera," the elder explained, his gaze lowering. "Part lion, part serpent, part good, it breathes fire and poison. It has slaughtered our livestock and burned our crops, and now it seeks human prey." As the elder spoke, Hercules felt the flames of resolve ignite within him. "I will face this monster, and I will not falter. Prepare for battle, for we shall reclaim your peace." The villagers rallied behind Hercules, their spirits lifted by the promise of salvation. They offered him the weapons of their forefathers, ancient swords and shields blessed by forgotten gods. Hercules accepted them with a nod, feeling the weight of their hopes resting upon his shoulders. As dawn broke, casting golden rays across the land, Hercules and a band of brave warriors set out toward the mountains where the beast had made its lair. The air was thick with suspense, the silence punctuated only by the rhythmic thumping of their hearts and the distant echoes of roars that sent shivers down the spines. They climbed steep paths and traversed rocky terrain, the sun rising ever higher until it blazed down like the judgment of the gods. The shadows of ancient trees danced around them, and Hercules felt the presence of divine watchers lurking just beyond mortal sight, waiting to see what choices he would make. The ascent took hours, and as they finally approached a gaping cave mouth, the ground trembled beneath their feet. From within, a growl resonated like thunder, shaking the very bones of the earth. Hercules drew his sword, its blade glinting with the promise of fate. "Stay vigilant," he instructed his companions, who nodded, eyes wide with a mixture of fear and courage. "We shall face this beast together, united as one." They advanced into the darkness, the cave walls slick with moisture and echoing with the sounds of dripping water. Shadows loomed larger as they ventured deeper, and then they found it a monstrous creature coiled within the cavern, its scales shimmering with a malevolent glow. "Thurian!" Hercules shouted, his voice steady as he stepped into the light. The beast turned, its lioness head roaring defiantly, the serpent-esque tail flicking menacingly, and the goat-esque bleat resounded with an eerie echo. "Your reign of terror ends here." With a deafening roar, Thurian lunged. Hercules barely managed to sidestep the creature's powerful jaws, the air crackling with danger. He struck with his sword, but it glanced off the beast's tough hide, eliciting a snarl of fury. "Stay back!" Hercules yelled to his warriors, who drew back, fear gripping their hearts. The chimera struck again, its claws slashing through the air, razor-sharp and deadly. Hercules dodged, adrenaline surging through him. "Fight as one," he commanded, rallying his comrades. "Aim for the heart." With a newfound determination, the warriors charged forward as a unit, unleashing a flurry of strikes upon the beast. Yet Thurian retaliated, breathing a torrent of flames that engulfed the cave in a searing blaze. The warriors stumbled back, their courage momentarily shaken. "Do not falter," Hercules shouted, dousing the fear with his own unyielding resolve. "We fight for our homes, our families, we fight for our future." With those words echoing in their hearts, the warriors pressed on, surrounding the beast with a united front. Hercules engaged Thurian head-on, employing the strength of his lineage. He ducked and weaved, striking at the creature with all his might. But Thurian was a cunning foe, and a swift tail swung around, knocking Hercules off his feet. He crashed against the cavern wall, the breath escaping his lungs. Thane shot through him, but he could not yield. The fate of Kaladin rested in his hands. Rising with a fierce roar of defiance, he charged once more, adrenaline pumping through his veins. He feigned a strike to the left, drawing the creature's attention. In that fleeting moment, the warrior on his right drove his spear deep into Thurian's flank, eliciting a howl of rage. Seizing the opportunity, Hercules lunged forward, striking with relentless precision. But Thurian retaliated, snapping its jaws mere inches from his face. The heat of the flames enveloped him as he barely rolled aside, the stench of charred rock filling his nostrils. Together, he shouted again, voice ringing with authority. "Combine your strength." The warriors encircled the beast, drawing their weapons and thrusting them toward its vulnerable underbelly. Thurian writhed in agony, fury igniting the fire within it. Yet Hercules remained undeterred. "Now," he roared, calling upon the clemency of the heavens. With a surge of divine energy, he summoned the essence of his lineage. When he struck, the very air shimmered, channeling the might of Zeus into his blade. He leaped high into the air, descending upon the beast with all his fury. "For Kaladin," he cried, plunging his sword into Thurian's heart. A blinding light erupted, illuminating the dark cave as the beast let out a final, anguished roar. With one last tremor, Thurian collapsed, its body dissipating into shadows that were drawn into the ether, leaving behind echoes of its terror. The cave erupted into a cacophony of triumphant cries, and Hercules stood, breathless yet victorious. "Victory belongs to the brave," he declared, raising his sword high, allowing the light to reflect off its blade. The warriors cheered, their spirits renewed, the darkness of fear chased away. Yet, amidst the jubilation, Hercules felt the stirring within the depths of his soul, a haunting reminder that true victory always came with a price. He turned to his companions, who were embracing one another in celebration. "Let us not forget the lessons learned today," he cautioned. "Every battle we fight shapes our destiny, and we must remain vigilant against the darkness that seeks to consume us." As they emerged from the cave into the light of day, Hercules cast his gaze toward the horizon. The sun had risen fully, casting golden rays across the land. Yet shadows loomed in the distance, and he knew that his journey was far from over. In the days that followed, word spread throughout the lands of Hercules' triumph over Thurian. Kaladin flourished again, crops were growing under the nurturing sun. But Hercules felt the pull of the heart of Nyx, its allure with spring promises of power, waiting patiently. One fateful night, while gazing at the stars, a familiar voice echoed through the stillness, ethereal and commanding. "Hercules, seeker of the heart, your path is entwined with darkness. What price will you pay to wield its power?" The demigod shivered, knowing the weight of that question. "I will face whatever trials await me. I will not allow fear or hesitation to dictate my fate." "Then prepare, for the test shall come," the voice intoned, and Hercules felt the fabric of destiny shift once more, the air crackling with ominous energy. Determined, he set his course toward the ruins of Thuros, ready to confront the shadows that awaited him within. He understood that with every victory came the spectre of sacrifice, yet he steeled his heart with the knowledge of his purpose to protect the innocent and forge his own legend. Thus, the saga of Hercules continued, a tale of strength, honor, and the eternal battle against the encroaching darkness, waiting for the next chapter to unfold a quest that would challenge him in ways he could not yet fathom. As dawn broke anew, casting its golden light over the realm, Hercules stood steadfast at the entrance to the ruins of Theros. Memories of his triumph over Thurians surged through him, fueling his determination. But as he gazed upon the wetted stones, a shiver coursed down his spine, for he knew in his heart that he was not merely returning to claim the heart of Nyx, he was returning to confront the shadows that lurked within. With each step toward the ancient edifice, the air grew thick with tension, the whispers of the past echoing off the walls. The ruins seemed alive, a breathing testament to the gods' wrath and the battles fought long ago. Sunlight filtered through the cracks, illuminating swirling dust motes, and yet beneath this serene fire, Hercules could sense the gathering storm, the pulse of divine malice awaiting his arrival. Brave son of Zeus, intoned the same ethereal voice that had haunted him, echoing through the air like a breeze rustling through the branches of ancient trees. You return, not as a seeker of glory, but as a pawn of faith. The heart beckons, yet beware the trials that await. Hercules steeled himself, resolve hardening in his chest. I will not shy away from the darkness, he declared boldly, his voice resonating with a promise. I seek not only the heart but the truth of my own power. As he stepped into the heart of the ruins, the walls echoed with ancient secrets. The pulsing ore of the heart thrummed beneath the stones, a siren call that threatened to drown him in desire. But he pressed onward, determined to resist its allure until the time was right. Suddenly, the ground trembled beneath him, a warning rumble erupting from the depths of the earth. Crumbling stones fell from above, and a horde of spectral warriors materialized before him, their forms flickering like candle flames. They were the remnants of those who had once sought the heart, doomed to wander the ruins in eternal regret. Foolish demigod, you seek what has cost many their lives, one of the spectral figures hissed, a visage twisted with anguish. Turn back, lest you join us in despair. Your sorrows will not deter me, Hercules shouted, gripping his sword tightly. I am not afraid of death nor the shadows of the past. I will face whatever trials lie ahead. With that proclamation, the spectral warrior surged forward, their forms coalescing into a solid mass of ethereal fury. Hercules lunged into battle, his sword slicing through the air with precision, each strike fueled by the fire of his lineage. Yet the ghosts were elusive, striking with an ethereal agility that kept him on his toes. Remember, son of Zeus, another spirit cried, lunging out from the shadows. Power comes at cost, and you shall pay dearly. Hercules gritted his teeth as he parried the blow, the cold touch of despair brushing against his skin. I will face the consequences of my actions, he shouted, channeling the might of his father. With a single, powerful strike, he shattered the spectral warrior, sending shimmering fragments spiraling into the ether. But more foes emerged, their relentless assault growing fiercer. He fought with every ounce of strength he possessed, slashing through the apparitions, their cries echoing in his ears. You cannot escape your fate, they screamed, their voices melding into a cacophony of the damned. Hercules grunted as he felt the weight of their lament pressing upon him. He could sense their fears and regrets, binding them to this realm. I will not succumb, he roared, unleashing a wave of divine energy that lit up the chamber, scattering the shadows. With a final push, Hercules cleaved through the last of the spirits, their anguished wails dissipating into silence. Breathing heavily, he stood amidst the ruins, the air heavy with the remnants of their despair. He felt the weight of their warning echo in his mind, yet he remained resolute, rising from the ashes of the past like a phoenix reborn. But as he pressed deeper into the ruins, a new challenge awaited him, an intricate labyrinth of mirrored walls, each reflecting his image back at him. What trickery is this? He muttered, confusion clouding his mind. Suddenly, the images began to shift, morphing into grotesque versions of himself, darker, twisted reflections that laughed and mocked him. You seek the heart of Nyx, they jeered, their voices a chilling symphony. But you will never be worthy. Hercules felt a surge of anger rise within him. I am not afraid of the darkness within, he shouted defiantly, stepping into the maze. Each turn presented a new version of himself, challenging him to confront his fears, doubts, and insecurities. Will you abandon your quest? The one mirrored version sneered, its face twisted with malice. You're but a shadow of a true hero. Left? Hercules roared, his words reverberating through the maze. I am the son of Zeus, I will not let doubt consume me. He charged forward, the reflections multiplying around him, their laughter echoing. But as he fought against the labyrinth's illusions, he realized that each blow he struck against the mirrors shattered not only the illusions, but also the chains binding him to his fears. Each strike transformed doubt into defiance, and with each step, he began to reclaim his identity. Face your destiny, he cried, breaking through the illusions, until at last he reached the heart of the labyrinth, a vast chamber where the heart of Nyx pulsated with power, its glow casting eerie shadows upon the walls. The air crackled with energy, and Hercules felt the weight of destiny pressing against him. But as he approached, the ground beneath him split open, revealing a chasm that threatened to swallow him whole. From the depths emerged a titanic serpent, its scales shimmering as it coiled around the heart, eyes burning like embers. You dare seek the essence of night, demigod, the serpent hissed, its voice a low growl. You will face the consequences of your ambition. I fear not the dark, Hercules declared, gripping his sword tightly. I will claim the heart and face whatever trials await. With a deafening roar, the serpent lunged, its fangs bared. Hercules rolled aside just in time, the serpent's jaws snapping shut with a thunderous crash. He sprang to his feet, charging at the beast, but it slithered away, its movements fluid and serpentine. Your resolve is admirable, the serpent taunted, but do you think mere strength can conquer me? Hercules narrowed his eyes, searching for a weakness as he dodged another attack. Strength is not all I possess, I carry the spirit of my ancestors. With a sudden burst of inspiration, he feigned a retreat, baiting the serpent into a false sense of security. As the beast lunged again, Hercules pivoted with lightning speed, plunging his sword deep into its side. The serpent roared in agony, thrashing violently, but Hercules held firm, channeling every ounce of his strength into the blade. I will not yield, he bellowed, pushing the sword deeper, the light from the heart illuminating the chamber in a radiant glow. The serpent hissed, its body writhing as it struggled, but the grip of destiny was unrelenting. With one final surge, Hercules thrust the sword through the serpent's heart. The creature let out a final anguished cry before unraveling into shadows, drawn back into the abyss. Breathing heavily, Hercules stood victorious, surrounded by the remnants of darkness. The heart of Nyx pulsed before him, Slate now calling to him, a beacon of power wrapped in temptation. Claim what you desire, demigod, a voice echoed from the shadows, a shadowy figure emerging, a goddess cloaked in darkness, her eyes luminous with ancient wisdom. But know this, power comes with sacrifice. Will you pay the price? Hercules hesitated, the weight of her words crashing upon him like waves. I seek to protect the innocent, he stated, his heart racing. If it requires sacrifice, I will face that burden. Very well, the goddess intoned, raising her hands. You shall be granted the heart's power, but at what cost? In that moment, Hercules felt a surge of energy course through him, the essence of night mingling with his blood. The power was intoxicating, yet he felt shadows creeping at the edges of his mind, whispering sweet temptations that promised chaos and destruction. Stay true to your purpose, son of Zeus, the goddess warned, her voice resonating with urgency. The heart can empower you, but it also desires dominion over its bearer. I shall wield it with honor, Hercules vowed, his voice steady. I will not be consumed. Yet, even as he spoke, the weight of the heart pressed upon him, the shadows whispering promises of dominance and glory. The path ahead would test his resolve, challenging the very core of his identity as a hero. The darkness would beckon, but Hercules would not falter. Thus, with the heart of Nyx now entwined with his fate, Hercules stepped out of the ruins, the sun shining bright against the horizon. He felt the power coursing through him, a dual gift of strength and a burden of shadows. Yet with the dawn of the heart came a profound sense of dread, and Hercules knew that the trials he had faced were but a mere prelude to the tempest that awaited him. As he strode forth, he could feel the edges of his soul being tugged in two directions, one towards honor and righteousness, the other towards the seductive embrace of power and chaos. The sun dipped low in the sky, casting long shadows over the land, and the moment Hercules stepped from the ruins, he sensed the disturbance in the elements, a sign of the gods' displeasure. Dark clouds began to swirl above, their ominous forms whirling like a brewing storm, and lightning flickered ominously in the distance. Behold the child of Zeus, who dares to wield the heart of Nyx, the voice boomed from the heavens, thunderous and echoing with divine resonance. You have sought power, yet cannot fathom the burden it brings. Hercules raised his eyes, defiance igniting within him. I do not seek power for its own sake, my quest is for the innocent, for those who suffer in ignorance of the dark forces at play. I will protect them. In response, the clouds parted to reveal a formidable figure, Athena, goddess of wisdom and war, her armor gleaming like starlight. Fate has placed the heart in your grasp, but heed my warning, to command its powers to balance on a knife's edge. Will you serve the light, or will you fall to shadow? I choose the light, Athena, Hercules declared, his voice unwavering, the very essence of his convictions ringing clear. I will face the darkness that lies ahead, whatever it may be. Athena's expression softened, pride mingling with caution in her gaze. Then prepare, for tests shall come to challenge your resolve. Trust in your heart, but be wary of the whispers from the shadows. With those final words, she vanished, leaving Hercules alone beneath the darkened sky. His heart thrummed with the pulse of the heart of Nyx, and as he stepped forward, he felt the world shifting around him. The ground trembled beneath his feet, and a rift opened in the earth, swelling with a spectral glow. From the depths, a legion of shadowy creatures emerged, their forms shifting like smoke, eyes glowing with malice. "Your demise is at hand, demigod," one of the creatures hissed, its voice a rasp that chilled the air. "You dare to claim the heart, we shall tear your spirit apart." Hercules gripped his soul tightly, courage igniting within him. "I will not bend to your darkness." He charged forward, a fierce battle cry erupting from his lips. The shadows surged, a tide of malevolence crashing against him, but he stood firm. The first creature lunged, claws outstretched, but Hercules sidestepped and countered with a swift slash of his sword. The blade cut through the apparition, releasing a burst of dark mist that dissipated into the ether. "You are weak," he taunted, rallying his strength. Yet more shadows poured forth, surrounding him from all sides. The air crackled with tension as they struck, clawing and biting, attempting to overcome him with sheer numbers. Hercules fought valiantly, his blows precise and true. Each cut he made scattered remnants of darkness, yet they kept coming, relentless in their assault. "Your strength cannot save you," they cackled, their voices a cacophony of despair. "You are merely a vessel for the heart's power, it will consume you whole." With the weight of their taunts pressing upon him, he felt the shadows tug at his consciousness, trying to weave their despair into his heart. "I am not merely a vessel," Hercules roared, channeling the strength of his ancestors. "I am the son of Zeus." He unleashed a wave of divine energy, the air shimmering with golden light as he carved a path through the encroaching darkness. The shadows recoiled, but just as he thought victory was within his grasp, the ground shook violently and opened further, revealing a dark abyss. From its depths emerged a colossal figure, a terrible beast, a fusion of shadow and fury, crowned with thorny crests and eyes that burned like molten gold. "I am Erebus, the embodiment of darkness," they growled, its voice a deep rumble that echoed in the cavernous expanse. "You shall not pass." Hercules felt the tremor of fear ripple through him, yet he quickly steadied himself. "I will not be cowed by the likes of you, Erebus. I fight for the light, and I will never yield to darkness." With a thunderous roar, Erebus lunged, striking with ferocity and speed that belied its massive size. Hercules dodged, barely avoiding the creature's massive claws as they tore through the earth, sending debris flying. He countered with a slash, yet the blade bounced off the creature's tough hide, leaving no mark. "Foolish demigod," Erebus roared, its laugh echoing through the abyss. "You think you can defeat me with brute strength, embrace the shadows, and I may spare you? I will never embrace darkness." Hercules shouted, determination coursing through him. With a mighty leap, he launched himself at the beast, aiming for its glowing eyes, a glaring vulnerability amidst its stuck armor. Erebus recoiled, swatting at him with a sweep of his arm, but Hercules twisted in mid-air, landing gracefully and regaining his footing. "You will not escape my purpose," he declared, his voice filled with fervor. "For the innocent I shall prevail." With a surge of energy from the heart, Hercules felt a new power awakening within him. He could sense the shadows swirling, but instead of fear, he channeled that energy into a mighty strike. "By the gods, I will end this." He dashed forward, his blade glinting with a radiant light as he thrust it towards Erebus' heart. The beast roared in fury, but Hercules was fueled by the power coursing through him, unyielding and fierce. The sword pierced through the creature's dark form, and a blinding light erupted, momentarily illuminating the abyss. Erebus howled in agony, the shadows recoiling as Hercules pushed deeper, determined to vanquish the darkness once and for all. "This is for the light, for hope," he shouted, thrusting the sword deeper as the energy surged around him. With a final, gut-wrenching scream, Erebus crumbled into tendrils of shadow that dissipated into the air, leaving behind a silence that echoed through the chasm. Hercules stood panting, the heart of Nyx thrumming with power within him, a reminder of the weight of his victory. Yet as he surveyed the aftermath of the battle, a sense of unease washed over him. The shadows had not been vanquished, they merely retreated, awaiting another chance to strike. And as the dark clouds above began to swell once more, Hercules could feel the eyes of the gods upon him, their judgment lingering in the air. "Your fight is far from over," came a voice, softer but laden with authority. From the depths of the shadows, a figure emerged, Hecate, the goddess of magic and sorcery, her presence like a cool breeze on a sweltering summer day. "You have triumphed today, but the darkness will return, and it will come with greater force. I will be ready, Hercules replied, his voice resolute. I will not yield to despair. I choose to protect those who cannot protect themselves. Hecate regarded him with a piercing gaze, her eyes reflecting the wisdom of ages. Very well, but remember, the heart of Nyx bestows power, yet it craves dominion. Should you falter, you may find yourself consumed by the very darkness you seek to defeat. I will not falter, he declared fiercely, feeling the pulse of the heart resonate with his own. I will harness its power to fight against the shadows. Then prepare yourself, Hercules, Hecate intoned, an enigmatic smile playing on her lips. The battles ahead will test not only your strength but your very soul. With a wave of her hand, the dark clouds began to part, revealing a vibrant sky filled with stars. Hercules felt a renewed sense of purpose swell within him. He would fight, not just for power, but for the light that flickered within every heart, a flame that could vanquish the shadows. As he turned to leave the abyss, the echoes of the past and the whispers of the future intertwined, creating a tapestry of destiny that awaited him. Hercules knew that his journey was only beginning, and with the heart of Nyx coursing through him, he would face every challenge that came his way, armed with courage, honor, and an unyielding spirit. Thus, the legend of Hercules continued, a saga woven with the threads of light and darkness, heroism and sacrifice, as he ventured forth into the night, prepared to confront whatever fate awaited him in the realms beyond. Each step echoed with a promise that he would safeguard the realm from the shadows, even if it meant facing the darkness within himself. The battle for the heart had only just begun.